Hi class, hope you're doing well. This is going to be a lecture on how to do your final speech assignment, your final sales presentation. So I'm going to get right to it. And don't panic. I know that in the written form it looks kind of intimidating, but it's not going to be that bad. Trust me. But usually students do quite well on this, and it gives you a chance to be a little creative, have a little fun, learn the structure of a speech, learn some tips about persuasion, and then some of the information from the earlier chapters is going to come back to haunt you. Okay. And of course, and I'm going to upload some handouts too to get you through some chapter outlines like I've been doing to get you through the remaining chapters. So just pace yourself. The questions for 9 and 10 for chapters 9 and 10 are not nearly as long as the part 1. So the part 2 is chapter 9 and 10, so don't worry, but you do need some of that material. So here we go. So what's your assignment? So first, what you need to do is you're going to create your own company, right? So you need to give your company a name and all of that fun kind of stuff. And you can have a little fun with this, right? You can make up your own company. So first you're going to create your own company. That's the first task. Then second, you're going to create a product or service that does not exist. So it needs to be original. Now, it can be based on a product that exists now, but you need to figure out how to give it an original spin, okay? Your own original spin. And you can have a little fun, right? Some examples of this, a mute button for humans. Wouldn't that just be great? You could just mute people and they keep talking, but you can mute them. I guess we already did that on Zoom calls, right? Hopefully you're not doing that to me right now. But anyway, real flowers that don't wilt. I would really like that. So anything. So it can be, or it can be something more realistic. Again, so you can have fun. So you create your own company and then you create a product that does not yet exist. Then you're going to give a 5 to 8 minute speech that persuades us to invest in your new product or service. So when you're thinking about who your audience is, you can approach this one of two ways. You can either imagine that you're presenting this to a client, you're trying to persuade the client to invest in your awesome company and this awesome new product, kind of like, what is it, Shark Tank? Is that the name of it? Anyway, is it Shark Tank? Where people present their products to that panel and then they literally decide, are they going to support this person's investment? So you could either treat it like that, or you could imagine that you're presenting this directly to customers. You're trying to persuade customers to buy your exciting new product. So however you want to set it up. So what do you have to do? And you think of that 5 to 8 minute speech as being a sales presentation, but there's a very specific outline that I want you to follow. So, and as a matter of fact, on the next page, I'm looking at the assignment right now. When you look at the assignment, Roman numeral 2, it says written report. There is an outline on the next page that I want you to follow. So here is the written part, because remember, it's 2 parts. You're going to submit a written paper, and then in the separate tab, you're going to upload your video, right? Your recorded speech, the video. And I included in lectures how to do that. Now, my colleague gives that speech. It's how to embed a video into Canvas or Blackboard. We use Blackboard. But really, you can upload yours to YouTube, and then you could just send me the link to your video. Just make sure you mark it unlisted. Do not mark it private, or I will not be able to view it. And he explains how to do that. And then other students have asked me, well, can they do it other ways? Okay, if you know a way that actually works and you can do it that way, that would be great. But I've found that the YouTube one is the most reliable, because a lot of times I've had students send me the MP4 or whatever it is, and I see the thumbnail, like I see it, and I click on it and it won't open, even when I download it. And then sometimes it won't download. I don't know. I've just found that the The YouTube way is more reliable. Now, I'm going to warn you, it is a pain because you do create your own YouTube account, right? And then when you upload the video, now you're lucky, yours is like 8 minutes long, tops. It takes forever to upload. So don't be, and then it'll say finished, and then it says it's going to process. It has to process or whatever. So you get all excited because you think you're done, and then no, it takes it another, I don't know how long to process. And it's really fun for me because these lectures are like more like 30 minutes long, and it takes forever. So leave yourself plenty of time, right? But anyway, but if you have another way and if you for sure know it works, that's fine, but just make sure you let me know because it's easier when it's right there in Blackboard. So the written report and then the oral delivery of your speech. So first the written report. What are you going to do? You're going to follow the outline that's coming up, and that's what I'm going to go over with you right now. You're going to create a 3-page document. If it goes over 3 pages, that's okay. Just not too much because, you know, three pages is about right on. That includes the following. You're going to have an introduction that follows the attached speech format, which we're going to go over in a minute. Then the body of your speech is going to describe your company and persuade us to buy your product or service. Again, follow this outline. Then you're going to have a conclusion that summarizes your main points, hits us with your final sales pitch, and a final ending line that links back to the opening attention getter of your introduction. And you're going to see this in just a minute. Notice letter B here in your assignment. Please see the PowerPoint on the structure of a speech along with the templates and sample speeches provided under lectures. Actually, that's not true. The sample speeches are now under sample speeches. I created a whole nother tab in Blackboard and it says sample speeches. So click on those and watch all of those. Okay. Also read chapter 13 on persuasive speeches in your book. Now, warning, danger, Will Robinson. Boy, you guys aren't even going to know what that refers to. Lost in Space, Jupiter 2. Anyway, I'm losing it, class. But seriously, when you look at those sample speeches, now keep in mind that there's a sample informative speech there. There's a sample persuasive speech. There is one that uses Monroe's motivated sequence, which is a persuasive type format, and that's in your persuasive speech chapter. And that one's on gardening. That one's cool. It's a TED Talk. And then there's another TED Talk that's persuasive. I would say it's persuasive myself, but talks about Latinx and how people feel about that term. So realize none of those speeches follow my outline for the final sales presentation, but they do show you the basic structure of a speech. Okay. And they especially show you the structure of the introduction and the conclusion, because that's what people mess up on. You don't want to get up there and go, hi. You don't want to start like this. You don't want to get up there and go, hi, my name is so-and-so, and today I'm going to talk to you about bowling. Oh, goody. Aren't we excited? No, you want to start with an attention getter, something that gets our attention, a question, a quote, a story, maybe a story about, oops, I just lost the outline. Maybe a story about that establishes the need for your product. Okay, so you want an attention getter first, and I'm going to go over this more in just a second. But this is why the outline is important. So since we're talking about the outline, and if you've got your assignment, well, you can't see it, and I don't know how to share the board and all that. So if you scroll to the next page, and it says outline format for the oral and written presentation, then you can see this is exactly how you're going to do your outline, right? Roman numeral 1, introduction. So this is your paper. And you have a choice. You can either put that 3-page paper into this outline format and just have complete sentences, your attention getter, your thesis, all of that. Or you can go ahead and write it like an essay, like a paper. But remember, you're writing a speech, so it's going to be you to the audience. So that's different from an English paper, right? So your attention getter, and as I said, you want to use a question, a quote, a story. So it could even be a photograph, anything that gets our attention, and that the attention getter has to do with your product, right? The next thing that you want in your introduction is what we call a credibility or ethos statement. Aristotle said to persuade an audience, you needed logos, which is logical appeal, pathos, which is emotional appeal, and ethos, which is ethical appeal. And ethical appeal has to also do with the speaker's ethos. Ethos in Greek means character. So what kind of character are you? It doesn't only refer to whether or not what you're asking to the audience to do is ethical, but whether you as the speaker or as an organization, your company is ethical. More and more people are starting to customers, clients are starting to pay attention to whether or not a company is socially responsible. And they're interested in making socially responsible investments. And so they want to know if the company is making their products in China and paying the Chinese laborer, $1 an hour in these horrific working conditions. So people want to know this, or they want to know if that organization is polluting the environment, for example. So this is becoming more of a thing. It really is. People are becoming more interested in the ethos of the organization. Okay, so maybe a statement that throws something like that in. Typically, the statement, though, answers these questions. Why should we listen to you? What is your expertise? Has your company been in existence for 10 years? Have you been on Forbes Fortune 500 list as part of the top 10, for the past year? I mean, you can kind of make some of this up, but again, you're trying to establish your credibility. You're being creative for this assignment. Of course, you wouldn't make stuff up in real life, right? But for the purposes of the assignment, then you want to develop some rapport with your audience, and you want to make this all relevant for your audience. So why should we care about your stupid product, right? Why should we care about your topic? Show that you care about us, your customers and investors, and how is your product or service going to make our lives better or benefit us in some way? And so that's the key. So again, the ethical appeal of your company, maybe some sort of statement talks about how you're socially responsible, how you've been in, like I said, your top 10 in profits, whatever it is, and that you care about your customers. Haven't you started to see in some of product advertisements and even organizations where they talk about how they're a green company, and so they talk about how they're supporting what they're doing to preserve the environment, for example. I've noticed furniture companies are doing this more and more. It's very interesting. This did not used to happen, class. 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't see that happening. So anyway, then your thesis or purpose statement. And here's an example, and you can follow this as your model. So I am here today to convince you that my company, whatever it is, you get to make up a snazzy name of your company, and our exciting new product, whatever the name of your product is, or your service, is a winning investment. So I'm here to convince you, I want to persuade you that our product's the way to go, right? Then the last part of your introduction is you have a preview statement. And here's the example. And again, you can model yours after this one. To help you understand why you should invest in this amazing, whatever your product or service is, first, I will give you some information about our innovative organization. Second, I will tell you about our amazing new product. And finally, I will tell you about our awesome marketing campaign. So notice, class, the preview statement, it doesn't always have to be 3 points, but that's kind of typical. It could be 3 to 5. It could even be 2. But for this speech, I'm giving you your talking points. that preview corresponds to the A, B, and C of the body of your speech. Okay, that's what a preview statement does. By the way, this is a great template to follow. This 3x3, introduction, body, conclusion, introduction, your attention getter, your credibility, your thesis, your preview, body, your 3 main points, your conclusion, summary, restate, and then final ending statement. This is a great thing to follow, format to follow for any presentation or speech you make for another class. But for the purposes of this assignment, this is what you follow. So you use that preview, or you can adjust it to your own words, but the 3 main points are going to be the same. So Roman numeral 2, what's your first point? So first, before I tell you about our amazing new product, let me tell you a little bit about our organization and why you can trust that the quality of our product is sound. So here's where you talk about your company. What's your company's name? What's the mission statement of your company? Almost every organization has some sort of, 1 to 3 sentence mission statement. Our mission is to provide better service and invest in our community, You can look up, EPCC has a mission statement. You can go to EPCC's website, as a matter of fact, and look up our mission statement, right? So and you can do research. Research other companies and just type in the name of the organization and mission statement, and it should come up. So your mission statement, what's your organization's philosophy? Come up with a slogan, like Nike, just do it, right? Where's your company located? A little bit about the history. How did your company get started? Again, you're making this up, right? You can be a little creative, class. And then maybe a little bit about how you're positively performing in the marketplace. So again, have a little fun. And I say here in the handout, you can use the EPCC website to help guide. You can look up our mission statement. Who knows what our slogan is, class? You should know. It used to be EPCC, the best place to start. Okay, but now it's EPCC, the best place to start and finish. Okay, because the way we've really adjusted as an organization because of state mandates, they're really interested in making sure that people graduate. It's not enough to start. You need to actually graduate with that associate's. So it's reflected now in our mission statement. Yes. Then what do you need to do again about your organization? Number 2, and here's where the course content comes back to haunt you a little. What model or models does your organization follow? The traditional model. Do you remember this stuff? Are you a traditional model? Are you a human relations model? Are you a human resources model? Are you a systems contingency model? Are you a transformational model? Or a combination? And you need to explain why. So tease out those characteristics of whatever model or models you decide and tell us, here's the characteristics and this is why my organization is structured like this. Because we believe that our employees should feel like one big happy family, right? That would be the human relations. So that's where that's going to come back to haunt you. And also tell us the benefits of following that model. What else? Then number 3, based on the model you chose, here's where chapter 3 comes back to a little bit. What are the primary directions of communication within your company? Are they upward, downward, horizontal? You really like the grapevine? You might also talk, this is number 4. Then number 4, you talk about, based on your model, what communication styles does your organization favor? And again, this should kind of mirror what the characteristics of the model, because remember, this is where the final part reflects back. Depending upon certain models favor certain types of communication. So you need to make sure it kind of matches up. What else? And then see chapter 2 in your book. Okay. 4, what communication styles? That's chapter 3. Remember the styles: dominant, open, closed, and sociable. Actually, I'm sorry. Dominant, open, private, and then sociable. They changed the terms. Dominant used to be called blind, and private used to be called closed. And so language is important. Those kind of have negative connotations. So I do like their new terms for those much better. And then 5, what sort of a culture or work environment does your company provide? Tell us a little bit about the culture. I don't know if I think I uploaded it for you, the 10 reasons to work for Google. Boy, and that's in lectures. If you play that little it has a cute little music thing that might drive you insane after a while. You can get a load of Google's culture from watching that little video. Like, you can bring your dog to work, you can bring your pet. So are you like that, or no, you're more formal and professional? What's the culture of your organization? So tell us a little bit about that. And then finally, the final bit, and that's kind of your first part, that's your A point. The final bit is work in a persuasive statement that tells us why your company should be trusted and is the way to go. So given all these wonderful things I've just told you about our organization, you can see why you can trust us, or whatever you want to throw in. So that's your first point. You can think of that as kind of the first page or a paragraph, however you want to do it. And then, very important, now you're moving on to your next point. Well, you are dealing with a listening audience. So the more you can tag for them and help them follow your speech, the better. So you want a transition statement that now says, now that you understand how innovative our organization is, let's move on to why you should buy our product. You can use that one. Or you can come up with one of your own that basically says the same thing. I've told you about our amazing company. I know you're dying to hear about our fantastic product. So I've told you about the company. Now I'm moving on to the product. It lets your audience know. So what about your product? Here you would describe your product or service. What is it? How does it benefit us? How much does it cost? Why should we buy it? And how do you, and this is really the persuasive part, how do you persuade us to buy this product or invest in it? There's lots of different persuasive outlines. You could use a statement of reasons. You need to buy this new product because, number 1, it does la-di-da. Number 2, it will help you do blah, blah, blah. And the third reason you should buy this new product or invest in this new product is la-di-da. So you give reasons, and then hopefully evidence or arguments to back it up. You could also do what's called a problem, cause, solution speech. In that part, you tell us, here's our product, and you can tell us, isn't it a problem? Aren't you tired of buying expensive bouquets of flowers at the grocery store for a party, and they're wilted before the party even starts? Well, guess what? We're here to show you how we've solved that problem with our new product, Wilt No More. Fresh flowers that stay fresh forever. I don't know. But so you would start showing us what the problem is, then you show us how your product or service is the solution to that problem. You could also do problem, cause, solution. Here's the problem, here's what's causing it, here's how our amazing new service or product can solve it. So, and then there's something called Monroe's motivated sequence. Again, class, these are in your persuasive chapter. Monroe's motivated sequence really is a good one for sales. It starts by getting our attention and showing us that there's a need for something, right? Then it shows us what is the world going to look like. It gets the audience visualize the world with it solved, if we institute this new solution, this new product, this is what the world's going to look like. So buy our product. There's a real easy one with voting. I'm trying to think with voting, you could do the attention getter. So that our senior class, students feel like they don't have enough input. Our senior class, though, working with these great new students can solve this problem, and here's how we can do it. And if we do this, our senior class is going to go down in history. Balloons, confetti, flowers. So vote for our strong leader, so and so, who can bring this vision to life, or whatever. So you can go take a look at Monroe's Motivated Sequence. The TED Talk where he talks about gardening follows that sequence. He shows the problem, shows the need, and he's really good because he's very, his speech is very informative. Not informative, it's very informal. And so that was the purpose of giving you that speech in the sample speeches on the gardening. So think of ways in this section that you can persuade the audience. Statement of reasons. Here's the 3 reasons why you need to buy or invest our product. Problem, cost, solution, or problem, solution. And then Monroe's Motivated Sequence. Again, I tell you to see the persuasive speeches, but they're not under lectures. They're under sample speeches. I apologize. I didn't catch that. You should invest in our amazing new product because there it is. One of those reasons should show us how the benefits of your product or service outweighs any costs or disadvantages. This is the logos. This is the logic of your argument. It's called cost benefit analysis. So the benefits of your product outweigh what we're going to pay for it or any other disadvantages. And what else? Okay. And you can also show how your product or service meets a need. See Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, Maslow is used in a lot of different contexts. You may have found it under psychology. You may have found it in an education class or come across it. How does it work in advertising? Well, and watch commercials. Watch commercials to get ideas because they appeal to needs, So Maslow's hierarchy basically says that there's a hierarchy of needs as human beings. There's a little pyramid. So the bottom rung is what he terms physiological needs. Food, water, okay? Healthcare arguments take place at this rung. We have a right to healthcare. We have a right to clean water, okay? Food, sex even, because we need reproduction as a species to continue. So physiological needs are that bottom rung. So think about watching a pizza commercial. The pizza commercial comes on, the pepperonis are sizzling, the cheese is melting, the steam is rising. All of that is aimed right at Maslow's bottom rung. You're hungry, hunger, right? And there's a logical I can't talk as a speech teacher today. There's a logical and emotional component to Maslow's needs. So think about it. It's logical to meet people's needs. If someone's hungry, you give them a sandwich. If they're thirsty, you give them a glass of water. The emotional component is what happens when those needs aren't met? What does it feel like to be starving? What does it feel like to not have clean water, to be thirsty, to be, dehydrated, so that's what we're getting at. There's an emotional component, or the happiness when that need is met, right? So that's where Maslow can be useful. The next rung is safety and security. So safety and security needs. How is our product going to make you more safer? Think of alarm companies selling you an alarm package. Okay, that's aimed at making people feel safer because that's the emotional component. What's the dark side of not feeling safe? Fear, right? So appealing to safety and security. The next rung is social needs. So you want to feel part of your community. You want to feel like you're part of your tribe. You're accepted by your tribe, or you're doing something good for your community. So maybe your product or service does that, right? Think of church, sometimes advertisements for join our church or join our community center. Things that make you feel like you're contributing to your your community or even the global community. So social needs. What are some products that appeal to social needs? Oh, staying connected. All the dating apps, right? Dating apps, all the phone commercials. Well, you need an Apple because it's superior. It's going to help you stay in touch with people better. Look. So it's got better FaceTiming devices. Are you with me? So you can connect to your family easier. La, 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 la. So social needs. Then the next rung of Maslow is self-esteem needs. Oh, my Lord, class. Gym membership so you can look good. Makeup, clothes, anything that helps your self-esteem. Self-help books. How you can be a better person, right? How you can feel better about yourself. Self-confidence tips. All of that. Weight loss programs. Noom, anything like that aimed towards your self-esteem. Now, some of these two overlap, right? Then at the very top rung of Maslow's hierarchy is self-actualization. Have you reached your potential as a human being? How's your life? Have you reached your purpose? Have you achieved your purpose? So the military, the army kind of nailed it. The old ad was be all that you can be. Join the army. Okay. Even EPCC, right? Achieve your dreams. The best place to start and finish. Any product or service that's aimed at bettering you, your livelihood, helping you reach your dreams, helping you achieve success. That's the top rung. Okay, so I hope you get some of that. So you wouldn't have to do all the rungs, but like I said, that might be helpful as you're thinking about how to sell us your product. Maybe you decide you're going to aim this sucker at the safety and security need, or you're going to show us how it's going to help you feel safe and secure. It's going to help you not ever be hungry again. It's going to help the environment, right? Whatever it is. So that's all the product section. And you have another transition, right? I know that you can't wait to get this great product. So let's move on to our marketing campaign. So the third section of your presentation is how are you going to communicate with customers? How are you going to market this sucker? How are you going to advertise? So here it is. How will you advertise your product? Are you going to use commercials, Instagram, Snapchat, social media, what? How will its availability be? Where can customers purchase it? How are you going to make this product available? Are you going to have a brick and mortar store? Is it going to be an online offering? What? How are you going to communicate with your customers? What sorts of ads? How are you going to get in touch with them? Is there a warranty on this product? How does the customer do this? What is the demographic of your customers or your target market? Are you aimed at young people? Are you aimed at 30-year-olds? Is it aimed towards seniors, right? There's a particular demographic. Watch commercials, you can tell. What demographic are beer commercials aimed at? I don't know, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. I don't know, I don't see that. Maybe a 40-year-old, and usually men. It's usually, think of the settings. It's a sports bar, a football game, woohoo! And so why? Because typically men consume more beer per capita than women. And I've always felt left out. They're missing a market. I love beer, right? So, and you know how you know this, that it's targeted towards men. A lot, not so much anymore. The commercials, I think, are becoming a little more inclusive. But you would see the beautiful young woman come out with the big mugs, right? Okay. So seriously, they beer commercials, that demographic is 20, 30-year-old, usually men, although arguably it's changing. So just kind of tell us what's your target target demographic, age range. Is it a white collar profit? People who are pretty well off working white collar jobs, or is a product aimed at kind of the everyday person, right? So just kind of think about it. What's the income level too you're aiming at this thing? Like, I'm not going to be able to go buy a Rolls Royce or a Mercedes or a Bentley. Are you with me? And they're not going to target teachers, right? I'm not going to typically be the demographic they're targeting those cars at. Yes. So that's what we're getting at. And who are your competitors and how will you beat them out? And so if you've based your product as kind of a spin-off of something that already exists, and again, you would have to tell us how yours is different, how are you going to beat your competitors? And then, you're done. Now you get the conclusion. So you have a summary statement. And your summary statement is not in conclusion, because class, everybody says in conclusion. So instead, now that you understand how amazing our company, our product, and our marketing plan are, I know that you're ready to invest in this new profitable venture. Notice you've summarized. You've told us that you've reviewed. You've told us, hey, I've told you about our company. I've told you about our great new product and service. And now I've told you about our marketing plan. Woohoo! Now you restate your thesis or purpose. Make your final sales pitch here. What do you want us to do? So you need to invest in our wilt no more flower bouquets. End as you began, and now you have a powerful ending line that pops back up to the attention getter, right? Again, see all of the sample speeches and speech materials under lectures, handouts, and sample speeches. For example, if you go into sample speeches, you'll see a persuasive speech on phony pharmaceuticals. And she talks to us, she's trying to persuade us that we need to legislate, we need to pass laws that protect people from phony pharmaceuticals. So her attention getter is a photo of these two pills. Go watch the speech. She starts off, can you tell the difference between these two pills, or whatever she says? Then the very end of her speech is, you have the right to know that your medicine is safe. And then her final slide, she puts up that same slide of the pills that she started with. And you have a right to know that what you see is what you get. So she comes back to how she began. So that's what you want to do. Watch those. I can sit here and give you instructions all day long. It's not going to help. You need to watch those sample speeches. They don't, again, warning danger, they don't follow this specific outline that I'm giving you here for your sales presentation, but it does follow the overall structure of a speech. Remember to use ethical, emotional, logical appeal. If you follow my outline, you will. Watch your favorite commercials, think about how you're selling your product, and have some fun. Be a little creative, class. So, I hope that helps. I know that's a lot to take in, but have fun. Do the best you can. I realize that COVID and all this crazy, I'm a face-to-face person, if you can't tell. Lord have mercy. This stuff drives me nuts. I want to be in the classroom with you guys. Speech and theater major? Hey, I need an audience. But seriously, normally when I do this project in a face-to-face, it's a group project. And so you as a group put this together, you get all this fun small group stuff, and then you do a presentation to the class, and it's a lot better. Now, if you want to include some visual aids, you can. I'm not requiring that, and I didn't make it group. I just thought that was one more thing to have to worry about when people are at all different levels with their technology and different things going on with your jobs because of COVID, etc. So that's why I made it individual. So the point in telling you that is, I understand. So do the very best you can. And again, have a little fun. Think of a product that you wish existed that would meet one of your needs. And think of students. Think when you do one of the steps of the speech, the first step, and it's under the overview of the speech in the handout somewhere, is audience analysis. Who is your audience and what do they have in common? So imagine that it's us. We're your investors and your customers. So what would help students? Think of the needs right now with the online and the COVID. What would help? What would help us? What's a product that might appeal to all of us having to adjust to this online education stuff? So that's an idea. You don't have to. I'm just throwing that out. By the way, speaking of phony pharmaceuticals, here's another thing. They're starting to sell the phony vaccination cards. I just saw a report on that. So because I have mine, woohoo, but it's not fake, but they're selling fake ones online. And so, of course, everyone's worried about this. Only in America, if you can scam it, we're going to do it, right? We're going to find a way to sell it to you. So, but be careful of that. Make sure you get your real one, and that if you're having to screen people with those cards, you might want to look at that article and see what's up with that. That is all I can think of. Again, class, do the best you can. Take it one step at a time, and email me your questions. And have a little. Oh, and you could dress a little professionally if you want. You don't have to, but it depends on your company. If your company is traditional and formal and professional, then yeah, you could make the top part with a tie or women with a nice, suit jacket or whatever. Or if it's like company team, maybe it's a polo shirt, right? You could have your little, sometimes in the past, people have put made up a little logo and pasted it on their shirt. It's been cute. Other times people have done company t-shirts. I'm not saying you have to do all that. I'm just throwing out ideas to you. And that is all I can think. So the paper that follows that outline, and you can put it either in essay format or you can put it in that outline format. Just make sure that you use complete sentences and that it's detailed enough. 3 pages, and then your video that's up to 8 minutes. 5 to 8 minutes. Look at that again. So I could blab on because I miss you all. I miss having students here. So take care, class, and stay tuned. I'm going to post another lecture on the interview assignment. Woohoo! Have a nice weekend. Bye.